So we have some news out of New York 16th Congressional District. It turns out that Democrat incumbent Elliot Engel is taking money from a GOP super PAC, which is backing Mitch McConnell and backing the Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee. So this is actually pretty wild. I mean, you guys know if you've been watching this channel, I've made some videos about Elliot Engel. I'm not a very big fan of him, but I was even surprised to see this. I did not know that it was this bad. So you can see here, I'm just going to sort of go through this article here because it's pretty sort of, you kind of have to follow it a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of go through this article here and talk a little bit about it. It's super crazy here. So you can see here, a Republican super PAC is funding an outside effort to help reelect Representative Elliot Engel. The super PAC is called Americans for Tomorrow's Future, which, by the way, is probably the dumbest name ever. What does tomorrow's future, like tomorrow's future, what does that even mean? Like, definitely a very dumb name here. All right, so the connections to the GOP are apparent enough that the Center for Responsive Politics lists it as a Republican or conservative PAC. The PAC's treasurer is David Satterfeld, and he is a former aide to the Republican Senate leader Bill Frist. And basically here, this cycle, the firm has handled the accounts of the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the National Republican Congressional Committee, and the campaign for Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell. And this PAC here is funneling money to Elliot Engel. It's completely wild, and dozens of other GOP operations. The PAC, presumably due to its visible Republican ties, is not spending money directly in Engel's New York primary. Instead, and this is where it sort of gets nuanced and you have to follow it closely here, instead, it funneled $100,000 to another PAC called the Democratic Majority for Israel, which is one of those sort of Democratic PACs that's very kind of conservative on the issue of Israel, and that's how they spend their money. They sent that money to them on May 27th. And basically, it's talks about how it's controversial and that this group had also spent money against Bernie Sanders. Actually, I remember making a video about that, how that campaign had launched like a sort of very negative ad against Bernie Sanders at the time, reminding all the voters in Iowa about Bernie's heart attack. Along with AIPAC as well. We're sort of sending in a bunch of money against Bernie Sanders. But anyway, who would have been the first Jewish representative. But anyway, since cashing the Americans for Tomorrow's Future check, they have spent more than $600,000 boosting Engel and hitting Bowman on TV and with digital ads. And the crazy thing about it here is that they have not spent any other money on any other race since taking money from the GOP operation. So it's quite clear here that the money went straight to this so-called Democrat, the kind of more conservative Democrat group, and then that money went straight then into Elliot Engel's campaign. So it's really wild, actually. I was surprised to find this, and you can see here they've raised, let me make it a bit bigger here, I don't know if you can see that, but they've raised $605,000 this cycle, and it's really largely basically dark money, obviously, because it's kind of a super PAC here. And so contributions to this PAC from individual donors of $200 or more, $605,000. So basically, almost all of this money here was all from PACs, that basically all the money was all from PACs and other sort of organizations and other people, which exceeded $200. So it's not like this is a Republican PAC filled with small donors, small donors like, oh, let me give money to this Republican PAC. No, this is all big money. It's all dark money. We don't really know where this money is coming from. We just know that this money tends to be spent on Republican operations for people like, as you saw there, Mitch McConnell and other Republican races across the country. But now they seem to be funneling money and spending money into Representative Elliot Engel's race against, as you know, Jaamal Bowman. Now, of course, as Elliot Engel is the incumbent, Jaamal Bowman is the progressive insurgent challenging him. And now part of the reason why this may be the case, and especially why it went through the Israel Democratic Majority for Israel Fund, is that Elliot Engel is very pro-Israel. In fact, he's much more pro-Israel than even the Democratic base and even other Democratic members. He's one of the most pro-Israel members of the Democratic Party. Not the most, but one of the most pro-Israel members. So that's perhaps why the Republican group was interested in funneling that money through specifically that so-called Democrat organization in order to donate and support Elliot Engel. And this is a real disaster. This is a nightmare. And it goes to show another point which Jaamal Bowman really made in one of the debates, which I recorded a video about. I'm not sure when this particular video will be uploaded, but Jaamal Bowman in a debate had slammed Elliot Engel, saying that Elliot Engel was filled up with dark money, that you don't know where the money is coming from when it comes to Elliot Engel, that he's just bought and paid for by corporations. And also, when it came to Elliot Engel, he doesn't even live in the district. During the entire coronavirus thing, you know where he was? He was in Maryland. He was living in Maryland, in his house in Maryland, and he hardly comes home to the district. And when they set up like kind of a fundraiser, Elliot Engel set up a fundraiser to help people out who were struggling during the coronavirus. He said he would be there, and then he wasn't. So a reporter knocked on Elliot Engel's door in Maryland, and guess who opens the door? Elliot Engel. Elliot Engel opens the door because he wasn't actually there when he said he was going to be there to help out people in his district. He spent his time for the coronavirus thing when people really needed help, when he could have been out there handing out food, working at a food bank in his district. He was chilling out at home in Maryland. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And not just that, not just does he not live in the district, not just does Elliot Engel, not live in the district, he lives in Maryland. He's taking money from a bunch of people from outside the district. So how are you going to represent the district, man? How are you going to represent your own people? Your own constituents? Clearly, you can't. Clearly, you can't. You're taking GOP money. You think the people in your district want you taking GOP money? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The people in his district, that district is incredibly blue. It's like, I don't remember the exact number, but it's like plus 10 or something like that. New York 16th congressional district. I don't remember the exact number, but it's one of those super blue districts. You think they want Elliot Engel taking Republican money? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, this is a disaster. Hopefully more people see this article. Hopefully more people see this stuff and they get mad and realize just who Elliot Engel really is. Someone who's representing Republican interest inside the Democratic Party, and it is outrageous. The fact that a Republican group is like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to support this Democrat because I know that Democrat is really on my side. Come on, man. Come on, man. These are the kinds of Democrats. I've talked about him on this channel maybe, a few too many times, but Elliot Engel is one of those Democrats who you've got to get out. You've got to get out. I am not in any way a fan of Elliot Engel. So anyway, I just wanted to update you all on that, kind of make it a shorter video, although it's maybe going a little bit longer than I had planned to, because I want you all to watch this. I want you all to get that information and realize just who Elliot Engel is. I'm going to leave down in the description a link to donate to Jaamal Bowman, the progressive challenger. He's really good. He supports Medicare for all, a Green New Deal. I'll leave a link down in the description so you can look up Jaamal Bowman and donate to him, because obviously he needs help. Obviously, Jaamal is going to need help when you've got all this Mitch McConnell GOP money funneling in to Elliot Engel. Jaamal Bowman needs your help. If you're able to, of course. If you don't have money, obviously, but if you're able to. So anyway, that's the video. If you liked it, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thanks.